Without further ado, let's talk about 2024. We've got the man, the myth right now, Chris Jones, the number 10 ranked linebacker. We've got 2 linebackers committed already, but I think we've shown that we've had a thin class of linebackers over the past 2 years. Need to pick up on that. So Chris Jones is making a multi-day visit coming up. Again, 4-star stud, top 10 linebacker, top 120 ranked player overall. So he is, again, making a 3-day visit with the Gators. I believe it's coming up here shortly, or he already has. Do you know too much about Chris Jones, Soder?
Not at the moment. I haven't jumped on to that class. Now, I will say that the 2024 class is looking really well, really good right now.
Okay, so let's. All right.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, you guys are sitting at 3rd nationally already, and it's what's today is signing day for the 2023 class.
No, we're not that high. We're like 7th, 7th or 8th.
Then on 3 must be giving you guys a ton of love.
On 3 has us at 3. 24/7 has us at 7 or 8 on the composite. I can look real quick. It is
on 3
8.
have us at 3. Okay, I like that. Then we'll use on 3's ranking for now. Then since we look a little bit better on that one. I was wondering, our average rating is stellar. So I was kind of wondering why 247 had it so low, but it is what it is. And then the other, we have got an offensive tackle who's making a multi-day visit in March. Fletcher Westfall is 6'8", 320, which seems to run the course for Billy's stature of offensive linemen. And until we land a couple of linemen from the recruiting cycle, I'm just going to keep marketing the fact that we have the multiple, offensive line coaches, and the fact that we've sent 2 studs now into the NFL, and the fact that Osiris Torrance had himself a day at the Senior Bowl and looked like an absolute tank. I don't understand how we just can't land every offensive lineman, just basically get Pickens based on what they've been able to produce in just 1 year. But I know we got to go up against the likes against Georgia and Bama, who are, known for building trenches. But I'm going to do my part and just continue to remind everybody until I feel that it's been satisfied. But Soder, you made the point that the 2024 class is looking really good. And you haven't looked into it too much. Obviously, 2023 is just now coming to a close. But what can you, let on of what the class is doing and how great it is turning into?
Yeah, I actually asked this question to Bill Sykes. He is a big-time stat nerd when it comes to recruiting. I said, isn't this the best start that we've had since the Urban Myer era, or maybe like the Muschamp 2012 class? And obviously, he hasn't done the research yet, but he goes, I could probably say it has. I mean, if you look at it, look at 2023's recruiting. I mean, you had 9 guys in Under Armour All-American games. Of course, I don't count 10 because Jaden Rashada is obviously not here anymore. But you had 9 guys competing in Under Armour All-American games. That is the most Under Armour All-Americans probably since that era, too. So even though the class is ranked maybe 13th or 14th probably now since Penn State got that, I think they got an offensive lineman. They jumped us by a little bit. You look at it now, and you say, oh, okay, well, we're 13th, and okay, it's still not where you want to be right now. You need to be top 5 to compete with the Georgias that you normally play every year. I mean, the Alabamas that you're probably going to have to play in the SEC championship, or LSU's. It's just not going to cut it in the SEC. Now, I will say from a quality standpoint, the past 2 head coaches, it has improved there. Obviously, transfer portal, I'm sure we'll get into that a little bit too. You got 10 guys. You got some studs at offensive line. You got some linebackers with some experience. You got ones with that have promise, like Taraja Mitchell, who was a former top 50 linebacker. I think the number 2 linebacker in his class in 2018. He's coming into the fold. He's battled some injuries there at Ohio State too. So you did get some good quality guys out of the portal, but you also got quality in this class. But the quality should have been better down the stretch. Of course, you had to compete with Miami's NIL and billionaire guy over there that doesn't know how to get off Twitter, and just a lot of other things as well. And I think it kind of, NIL throwing a wrench into things, and every school trying to have to learn new strategies and techniques to get around things and all that other kind of stuff. Threw a little bit of a wrench in Florida's class, but I think Florida, now that they've cut some heads a little bit and gotten into that 2024 class, has gotten off to a really good start, especially getting 5-star DJ Lagway.
Yeah, that's a good point. Again, like how it started off, I think, and everyone's like, oh, it's early, it's too early. Well, this is how it starts. You have to start early so you can continue to build on the big class. Darius Hayes was a nice treat that we landed the other day. Pretty fired up about that one. And yes, even Gator Nation's talking about we've landed offensive linemen in the portal And yes, we have, and I think that's massive. But I would like to land a recruit as well. And he talked about Mitchell today. Billy did in his press conference. I think he said that he was a team captain at Ohio State this past season. So I think he was kind of referring to just the leadership that he brings to the table. I saw an article that it was talking about as well, just the leaders who have stepped up in the workout room for week 1, which is, I think the foundation is phase 1.
Foundation,
Foundation, yeah. So it's week 1 of the foundation. So this is kind of cool, too, because I remember last year when Billy came in, this is something that Steve and I talked about. We followed a lot, was just each phase that Billy was implementing. It was new to us, right? It was something that we were kind of a part of. And in an interview with Osiris Torrance, they asked him, it's like, hey, how do you feel about the phases? Because it's new to us. He's like, well, this is my second time going through it. Or maybe even third, I think. So he's like, he's like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, it's Tuesday to me. And that's kind of what it feels like now. Like, all right, it's Tuesday. Like, we know what this is all about, right? But it's going to be exciting because, again, now it's the guys that were there last year, like Kamari Wilson and such, they get to go through it all over again. So now they know what's going on. They know how to handle it. It's not just 2 guys, right, which is Montrell and Osiris, who have been through that. There's more of them. So hopefully that transitions a little bit better and has more of an impact to these new guys coming in. With that, let's go ahead and move on to the orange and blue game